And we are live.
Hi, greetings everyone. Sunday afternoon, here it is, and it's so wonderful to welcome you to our second session in our series where we're introducing you to the first counselors of Mohanji Foundation. We kicked off last week and we spoke to the first person on the council, not in hierarchical order, might I quickly add and remind again. That was Madhusudan Gopalaratnam. And you can find that also, on YouTube to really get familiar with the first in our series of introducing the counselors of the Mohanji Foundation Council of Nine. So then my name is Ami, and it is really wonderful that you are here today. Why the council? Why Mohanji, who is the founding father of the organization, found it necessary to actually have a council of this nature? Well, all this is being revealed as we speak to the various councillors, and we are hoping to speak to all nine of them over the next couple of weeks, right here on this Mohanji Foundation YouTube channel. So I trust you're doing well, and it gives me now the greatest pleasure to introduce to you the next of our counselors today. The first one is Dolf Zantinger. You will probably know him and his business partner, fellow scientist Eric Larke. They are fellow scientists, business partners, have done so much also in the field of telecommunications. That's Dolf. And then also as a scientist where water is concerned, coherent water. But now we're going to be talking to Dolf on a completely different tack or level. And that obviously is to do with Mohanji's appointment of the Foundation's Council of Nine. So a very good afternoon to you. Good morning to you, where you are, Dolf. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amy.
And we're also going to be talking to Christopher Greenwood. Christopher Greenwood is also a very familiar face and a name with the Mohanji Foundation. Christopher has been with Mohanji as his personal or his executive assistant, wearing many hats within the foundation. He is the CEO of Success Empowered, and also now the WCA, the World Consciousness Alliance, where he also leads that. So very busy man, aside from working very closely with Mohanji as well. So good afternoon to you, Chris. Wonderful to have you. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Ami. It's a pleasure. And hello to everyone watching.
Great. So I'm going to begin. Let's, without any further ado, Dolf, like the Council of Nine and your appointment to it, did it come as a surprise to you? And how do you feel about this council? How do you see it in your own personal scheme of things, in your own personal arena, in your own personal, how can I say, personal characteristic? Let's talk about your involvement in the Council of Nine and how you came to be on the council.
Well, Amy, 2 weeks ago, I was not even aware that the council existed and that I was part of it. So it really came as a surprise. I'm very honest to that. But when you have been with Mohanji for the last few years, and especially the last year, you see that the organization is growing tremendously. And it has to go through a certain professional next step. I mean, if you see the number of centers of benevolence that are in the world, you see what is happening with all those food production, everything he does in the world. It is so much. And then you do understand that the next step is important. And then you need a team around you with different disciplines. And in that respect, I understand that Mohanji is moving in that direction. For me, it was really a surprise because I was asked the day before he announced it if I wanted to be part of the council, and I was not even aware what the council meant. So it was really a surprise, to be honest. As a former CEO in many organizations all over the world, you do understand that if you don't organize it in a more professional way, then you really create, and in the coming future, you create a problem. So in that respect, I really understand that Mohanji was moving in this direction. And well, I hope I can really support this very important task. Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome, Dolph. We're going to pick up on that thread in just a little while. I just want to acknowledge those of you who are watching live on the Mohanji Foundation YouTube channel. Welcome. If not now, then perhaps in the future now, where you'll be coming to watch the replay, which is obviously going to be available on this channel. And if you have any questions, you're most welcome to write them down in the chat. We have Mohanji Acharya, who is Samira Khan, who is going to be monitoring the chat, and if there are any questions, and she will relay them to us. So it's good of you to join us. Thank you so much. Make sure that you also participate and we have this interaction, and we'd love to hear what you have to say about the council as well. Wouldn't that be nice and make it a very nice and interactive? So Christopher Greenwood, you've heard, he's a very familiar name, very familiar face within the various platforms of Mohanji Foundation. It's a pleasure to welcome you, Chris. And this time, we welcome you as one of the counselors of Mohanji Foundation. Congratulations and
Thank you, Ami. Thank you, Ami. And it's a real privilege and a pleasure actually to be able to take this role.
yeah. So Mohanji has actually handpicked a number of you to be on this council, 9. I guess 9, perhaps because of the import of that number. It is, in my own view, I feel that it is like a number of completion. It has very many spiritual dimensions and elements to it. But Chris, your being welcomed or being announced as one of the counselors, did that come as a surprise to you? Did you feel that you were being groomed for such a position? Because Mohanji does not do anything without clarity, vision, and there's a lot of intent behind creating this council. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's, as what Dolph said, a natural next step. And it was a similar surprise as well, because I was probably made aware within similar time as well. But that's not uncommon when you work with Mohanji. And if you've worked with him quite closely, there's almost, I wouldn't say an intuitive, but like a common understanding of the way that things are going, because he communicates with absolute clarity, actually, of where we are as an organization, what the vision needs to be for the organization, how it needs to evolve, and how it needs to grow. And if you look at the council members, when I look at them now, everyone has their own unique discipline, I would say, and experience which they can bring to the group. But the majority of them have had a good, sufficient amount of time with Mohanji, living with him, working with him closely, interacting with him daily. So the thought processes that Mohanji has, the communications that he has, the ideas that he has, I think is all quite common to everybody. There's not an onboarding, so to speak. And it feels like he's created this group because he's become incredibly busy himself, actually. You know, he himself has said, you know, my workload is just increased astronomically. So still now, when you're with him closely, he'll get personal requests about either people issues or small tasks or project type requests that's happening across the world. And the sheer workload is just a lot. So I think one aspect of the council is going to be helping support him in some of the decision making, the organization and the administration. But what I think that this group in its current form and as it grows, it will last for many generations, well beyond, I'm hoping my lifetime, I'm beyond. But it will be the group that sort of maintains Mohanji's vision, maintains Mohanji's path of Raja Yoga, maintains the philosophy, and ensures that stabilized both through the teaching and through the centers and through the practices. So it's an exciting time and a little bit of I wouldn't say a sad time, but it's a realization as well that not that this is a sad thing to consider, but you know, he wants to make sure that this organization lives well beyond when he's physically here as well. So he's putting in place the seeds and the structures that can ensure that the organization endures for many generations to come and benefits many that come after us.
You know, Chris, those of us who have been walking with Mohanji now for some time, we know that he is not a person who gets involved in the emotional drama. He's a very practical person, and you know, to be practical is to be Mohanji. And those that have been with him for any length of time would really know that. So he's created this with great intent and with a very practical view to continue the work after he's not here, without any emotional attachment to it. And you being with him, working so closely as his executive assistant over to, for quite some time now. So who better than to point amongst the nine than you? How do you feel? What do you bring to the council as a whole? Because if you can maybe just also briefly um, just explain to us in where you see how you see the council, what does the council mean to you, and how you fit into its operations together with the rest of the eight.
Sure, I'll give my view as I feel it now, and Mohanji is giving us some quite clear direction as council members as well, and we're having a good discussion. So the thing about the council is that's going to maintain really the forward momentum that Mohanji wants to bring. That's my understanding, and it's not just myself that spent a lot of time with Mohanji traveling. I mean, the likes of Barbara has spent a lot of time with Mohanji before. Dolf is always with us whenever we've traveled, and he's always giving Mohanji counsel on matters of importance. He's the president in Netherlands, so he's got a big role there of a good organization. I'm now also leading the Mohanji Centre of Benevolence Scotland, so I have a role as an MCB head, and I'm working together with other other MCBs, the centres, to put in place what the foundations are. So really now, what Mohanji is tasking us with is how do we really move this forward? Because we've done a great job this past decade, which has been capstoned with centers across the world. We're in Australia now, we're in Serbia, we're in Slovenia, we're in Scotland. Soon we'll have Pranapatista in America. And this is not a small task to keep all of this in alignment and organization. And it's sheer through the council and the diversity of the team that we'll be able to take Mohanji's vision and direction and put it into action with the other teams as well. So I see us as in one aspect is the driving force and the facilitator for Mohanji to move forward the progress. And the second aspect of it as well, which is very important, is to help handle any discussions or organizational discussions from any of the countries, any of the centers, and arbitrate a discussion and decision-making process amongst a balanced group and a democratic process in some way of voting, so that everything's clear, everything's transparent, and everything moves along with a good, what can I say, good checks and balances, and in line with the mission that Mohanji set. Myself personally, I feel privileged and grateful that I had the chance to live and work with Mohanji very closely. I mean, day in, day out, right from morning when I was in India after COVID, I'd sit with him from 4:30, 5 a.m. right up until breakfast time, and then meet again in the afternoon. And it was like that every day. And that's when he would say, one day we'll have centers around the world. And I'd sit there thinking, it's the middle of COVID. How is this going to happen? And then now you see that it's taken place. So lots of those conversations and lots of those seeds were planted a long time ago, and we're seeing those come to fruition now. So I feel a responsibility in some way that I can share that this is my understanding of what Mohanji said. And I have all those recordings as well. We have all that knowledge of how he said, how he discussed, how he handles issues, how he handles problems, how he interacts with different teams, how he guides. So I'm hoping that through that osmosis of being with him for that time, I can bring just a small bit of that to the group.
Oh, that's so awesome, Chris. Dolf, how do you see this council?
Well, what I have sensed is that first of all, the council is built up in such a way that it is multidisciplinary, and I can't see you any longer. So, you hear me? Yeah, good,
Yes.
because everything was gone for just a few seconds. Now, in the team, there are a lot of different disciplines. And that is very important because we will see that the Mohanji organization is split all over the world. And what I expect is that we create a kind of a worldwide grid, a grid whereby all the energies of all the centers and all the things come together. And for that reason, it's very good that you have a team with a team from people from all over the world, different age and different background. What Christopher just said is very important. And I think the whole team, everybody feels itself privileged and honored, but you also feel that you have to bring all those skills to the table in the right way. So in that respect, it's very important that it is taking place. And the need to do it is already, I think, very well discussed by Madhu in your last session. I see what is happening now is that a lot of people are now going to the MCBs. The MCBs are becoming more and more mature in the coming years, maybe 1,000, 10,000, but I would not be surprised if the generations after us, millions of people will come to these places. And I think then you have to create a stability now, and that is very critical. I think you really have to come up now, especially in this difficult time we are in as planet. We will go through some very serious changes in the coming years. And I think it's very important that you create a certain stability and coherence in your own team. And I think that that is why Mohanji is setting up this group of 9. And as you said, 9 is already a very special number. And I think he does everything with a reason. Knowing Mohanji, he always is doing things with a reason. And sometimes you haven't got a clue what it means, but later on you find out yourself. And it is always a big surprise. I can tell you that.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you this, right? Forgive me if you have alluded to this already, but I just need to like make it even. What made you accept it? You ran another spiritual organization for about 17 years or so. And so coming from that, you have a whole lot of experience, not only as a business person, entrepreneur, as you call it, your science background, but people, and as you said yourself, there are so many diverse backgrounds, people from coming from so many diverse communities, bringing all their experiences together here. It sounds to be like Mohanji's got it all covered, from the youth to the not, to young adults or not so young adults, and to the much more senior citizens. So he's got everything covered, and experience, I guess, goes a very long way, right? So you've had this wonderful opportunity. I know you were in Ganesh Puri for Mohanji's birthday in February, and then you were off to the MCB in Australia, and you had a lot of time also to spend with Mohanji, and also to talk, perhaps, I guess, at length about the council. Did that happen, and what did you come away with?
Well, you already asked us what was your experience 17 years ago. Swami Sri Yukteswar had 2 very famous disciples. One of them was Yogananda, and the other one was Swami Hariharananda. And Swami Hariharananda has asked us to set up an ashram in Western Europe, and I was one of those people in that ashram for more than 25 years. So, and we had to start from scratch. Exactly what you do see now with the MCBs. You have to build it up from nothing. And now that ashram is doing extremely well. And to be honest, I think that the MCBs will do much better. They will become bigger because the programs of Mohanji are very wide. It's not only the Kriya Yoga or the meditation. It's everything. It's the MTM. It's the conscious dancing. It's so many things. And that is why this is so interesting. And I also believe that also what he's doing with the empowerment, also in bringing what Chris is doing, empowerment to the business and to many other organizations, it is so wide, and that is why you need a multidisciplinary team. And that is what he brought to the table. So in that respect, I really understand his focus. But I think step by step, he's pushing this team of 9 forward. And I expect that a lot of new announcements will be made by him in the coming year. I would not be surprised at all.
So from surprise to acceptance, what made you accept the invitation? Because coming from Mohanji, it's such an honor. Did you feel that you couldn't say no, or did you accept, and why did you accept?
How can you say no to Mohanji? No. I mean, if Mohanji is asking you to do this, then you understand this has a reason. If you get more familiar with Mohanji, everything he says, everything he does, every move there is a reason. So if he is asking you, you think, okay, there is a reason for it. So you accept it. Very simple. And you are honored. You think, okay, there is a reason. Thank you. Let's do it.
Awesome, Chris. I'm going to bring you in here. Was this the same for you as well? Because you didn't know up until just a few hours, I guess, before Mohanji made the announcement that you were going to, he had you in mind, and it was intention that you were going to be amongst the 9.
Yeah, it's well, as Dolf mentioned, I don't see it really as a choice, as anything which is like you're giving the option, so to speak. I mean, my commitment that I made to Mohanji, not verbally, but in my heart, is that I love his teachings without a doubt, and for me, they've brought so much value to my life, and I can really see and feel the job that we have at hand to help the society. So for me, it's more of a feeling of privilege, of honor, of gratitude that there's a thought that I can contribute in some way to help this mission. That I can help in some way and bring something to the group and to the council. So that's really the only thought that I've had. And Mohanji, it's not like there's been any time given to celebrate or anything. This is not I see as a time when, okay, I've received something great as a title. Basically, it's a time where we really have to get into work and get into action as a group, because he's really looking to us to help shape and guide the whole organization. And the two things he's focusing on now really is outreach. So he's tasked us with this. He's tasked us with specific challenges and goals to achieve, which is, how do we make this reach the world? How do we make our teaching and the centers reach people? And so now there's not really too much time to celebrate or enjoy the fact that we've come together. It's more, okay, what is it that we're going to do now? How do we bring our skills? How do we unite people together? And we follow through with what he wants us to do.
Well, underlining everything, the appointment of the 9 to this council, and there are other platforms as well that he has announced, and amongst them is the World Traditional Alliance, which we're not going to talk much about here, but he also announced that and activated also on his birthday, which was on the 23rd of February. So this is basically just underscoring and underlining service, right? Selfless service. It's everything to do with how we can make this world a better place. What do we do to add value to the world, to life, and not necessarily only to our fellow human beings, but to all of life, including the plants, animals, the environment, every aspect of life that is experiencing life here in some way, shape, or form, or the other. Your comments?
The World Tribal Alliance is another initiative, and I think in Mohanji's style, if we had more people, there would be many more things happening. But everything he does is to raise the awareness of the world and society, and that's rooted for me in nature. Then bringing people back to their nature, which is beyond the sort of personality, what's inside, the energy that's running. And also we live in balance with nature. So, and Dolf, I'll probably ask you to maybe speak about this a little bit more, because I know that you see it more in a
Because Dolf,
plane, and he
more
works with,
with his,
yeah, I mean,
scientific field.
we can
Mhm.
talk, but essentially Mohanji said that there's a big disconnect with nature between humans and the natural environment. And the World Tribal Alliance, those communities are the keepers of the forests. They're the keepers of nature. So who best to look after the forest than those group of people? That's why Mohanji is uniting them. And then each of the other platforms have their own purpose and focus as well. So it's another extension of his
Yeah.
mission.
What would be your first order of business? Either of you can answer. Dolph, if you can come through, or Chris yourself. Uh, how do you see or what do you see as your first order of business?
Well, if I can start with that, I mean, what Chris said is really very important. This is not really a celebration. This is more time to take action. If you really look to the world as it is now, and also on the scientific field, and that is part I'm working in, you see that we have a complete mismatch. We disconnected science with the nature and with who we are completely. we have materialized everything. We forget to think about in energies, that everything is communicating with each other. And that is why I'm so honored to take this role also in this council, that I really believe that if we really want to change this planet, we really have to come back to Mother Nature and to the rules of nature. And that is also why Mohanji wants to make a connection with all those old Indians and all those tribes again who have that connection. We have to go back to different medicines, different education, work with nature. And I think that the whole world of science must understand that we are part of that as well. And I hope that this is also one of the things that we can do in this council. And for that reason, I'm very pleased that I'm part of it, because I think with the support of Mohanji, with the team members, we can really make this happen in the coming years. And I hope that generations to come will have the benefit of that. So we have a serious responsibility.
Yes. Yeah, it's all about responsibility. As Mohanji would say, responsibility over rights. And he keeps on underscoring for us as well. You know, people keep shouting about, this is my right, this is my right. But what is our responsibility over the rights? You know, we here as visitors, we're not here for, just simply to take. What do we give back? Because Mother Earth, Mother Nature provides everything that we need to have for us as humans to have this experience here. So as we are about to wrap this discussion, this communication and getting to know one another, as getting to know you as council members, is there anything else you would like to add, Chris? And then we'll go back to Dolf and then call it a wrap.
Yeah, sure. I'll share a few words now. Exactly what Dolph mentioned. Now is the time for action, really. So Mohanji's already pointed to the potential of um, various types of calamities, man-made, natural disasters. All of these things are coming. And if you look at the situation in Europe and across the world, tensions are growing. There could even be man-made conflicts. At that time, it's anticipated that travel will be less. At that time, it's anticipated that communication will be disrupted. And it could be possible that in each of the locations, we become more isolated. So if we take just say 6 months or a year and work on that time frame, or even less, just a few months, we have to look at the urgency and the speed that Mohanji is pressing activity. So the council specifically, I believe, will be tasked with two main things. One is audit. So what is it that Mohanji Foundation has in terms of its assets of spaces, of teachings, and then people being the acharyas and active acharyas. So people who are ready and are actually doing something and can help reach out. Then the second will be outreach. How do we bring this message to more people so that where we have these spaces and centers of high energy, which will help people connect with themselves, people understand what it is, they connect with what it is, and they come to the centers and experience this and bring that transformation to their life, as well as the other platforms. So now that's, I think, what the task of the council is going to have is the audit, make sure we consolidate everything that we have, practices, teachings, etc., and then do the structured outreach through social media, through all of our organizations, through all of the countries. Now it sounds very administrational, but this is the practicality, right, of what the council is. It's how do we make this message reach more to change the frequency of the world.
Thank you, Chris. Dolf?
Yeah, I think this is really an opportunity, but it should also be fun. I mean, let's face reality. We are extremely privileged, all of us, to have somebody like Mohanji around us. I mean, what he is doing is amazing. I've never seen any master in the world doing this. What he's doing, he is really creating a complete new society, and he's putting the base for this. And that is why I'm so excited about this. And I hope that through the turbulence that probably will come up in the coming years, that the old energies are gone and that we can create a new, complete new, stable, new environment where people really want to be part of. I think that is why it should also be fun. We should go to a more optimistic and more pleasant, good human being.
Yes.
So I want to end
Yes.
with that as this.
That is beautiful. I love it. To both of you, it has been such an absolute honor and privilege to talk to you. Thank you for spelling out your roles and your responsibilities also, because as Chris also said, and you also, Dolph, that this is no party time. You have a lot of work ahead of you with the council, and we wish you everything of the very best. And I know a lot of us will be looking to you for a lot of guidance, for a lot of support, things that are not clear to us. We will be like turning to you for help in who knows how many different respects, because we have so many Mohanji centers of benevolence, including here in South Africa, where I am from. And our Center of Benevolence, Mohanji Center of Benevolence, is in a place called Nonoti. It is this center is situated slap bang right in the middle of a location, and the area is it's just poverty stricken, and the amount of work that has been done, the light work that has been done, and the service and the seva and the feeding and the empowerment and the uplifting has just been phenomenal, and like it has been also with all the other centers around the world. So, Samira, who has been watching and monitoring the chat on YouTube, are there any questions for our counselors today?
Nothing
Yes,
at the
Samira?
moment. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
I guess the counselors are doing such a good job.
I like to bring one thing to the
Dolph?
table. We cannot do that without the Mohanji organization. We are not separate from them.
Yeah, this is
I mean, let's face reality, we are completely part of that organization. And what they do is an amazing job. And I would like to emphasize that as well. I mean, we are just a council to make it happen for a certain level, but without all the volunteers and all the people are part of it, we can't do anything. So this is very critical. We are not standing outside the organization, but just inside the organization. I think that's very important.
That's probably one of the key things as well, actually, Dolph, to mention that, because what you've mentioned there, Amy, of all the work that you're doing now, this is the work which we're wanting to bring everywhere. And that other aspect of the council, bringing the support, bringing the guidance, how we work together, how we facilitate, how we collaborate is also something that's it's really essential that we look at. Yeah. It's all together we're doing this, right? We have some role,
yes,
but it's not an isolated role. It's just something that helps everyone.
Yeah.
And like coherent water, this is like a coherent organization.
Absolutely.
All of us, we come together and we really gel and meld as one cohesive group, speaking, coming together as family. This is what is really very important. And there's absolutely it's not, again, we keep emphasizing it's not hierarchical. We are here as brothers and sisters. We are here to make this world a better place and to add value to the world and to carry the teachings and the vision of a master such as Mohanji, to make sure that we carry out our work and conduct ourselves in integrity, in his name, in his essence, in his even presence without presence. So I think that's the gift that he keeps on gifting to us. He never stops giving. He never stops gifting. So, dear gentlemen, it has been such a pleasure and honor to talk to you. Thank you very, very much for being here. Truly, that's Dolf Zantinger, as well as Christopher Greenwood, who are two among the 9 councillors appointed by Mohanji, announced, activated on his birthday, which was on the 23rd of February. So bless you, bless the council, bless all the activities of the Mohanji Foundation. Thank you very much to my dear sister Acharya, Samira Khan, who has been monitoring the YouTube channel for any questions that might have come through, and very especially to our dear Nemanja Nedic and the M-House Media for coming to and helping with the technical setup and helping us with that as well. So truly grateful to you, Nemanja, as well as M-House Media, Samira, Dolf, Chris. Thank you. Go well. God bless. Jai Mohanji.
Thank you, Ami.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for the
Thank
initiative.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Nemanja and Samira. Thanks. Bye-bye.